The Kawasaki Z H2, guys and gals, is an absolute monster of a motorcycle. Doesn't look it, does it? Trust me. This thing is just absolutely insane. But in all the videos that we've ever done on this motorcycle, I don't feel like I've ever shown you exactly what that means. Well, in today's video, guys and gals, I'm going to try my absolute best to show you what it's like to ride the Z H2. Honestly, guys and gals, all the words that I use to describe the Z H2 really don't do it justice. When it comes to performance anyway, it doesn't look that special on paper. But trust me, there are bikes with more horsepower that feel slower than this. I mean, that's the funny thing about the Z H2 is you can enjoy yourself on it, you know, without having to go wickedly fast all the time. But it kind of dares you to do that. It kind of wants you to pull that throttle back a little bit more to test you, to see how big your balls are. Oh. See, I get to the point where I start to feel the front wheel floating up off the floor, and that's kind of like when my instincts kick in to come off the throttle. But in today's video, I want to try not doing that as much as I can. I want to try and show you how mental this bike is. Because honestly, riding it like this just doesn't do it justice. You really have got to experience it for yourselves to understand exactly what I'm talking about. And look, guys, by all means, I don't care which background you come from, whether you're a cruiser guy, a Yami boy, or Honda, whatever, I don't care. You need to get yourself on this bike. It just takes your breath away with every single pull of the throttle. Woo! Yeah, this is tough to try and explain in detail exactly what this bike can do. And it's funny because the H2 SX, which is the touring version of the Ninja H2, and the Z H2 of course is the naked version of the Ninja H2, the H2 SX doesn't really compare to the Ninja H2, not in terms of just raw, like brute force performance. Yeah, the H2 SX doesn't really have that punch. If you do want a motorcycle on the cheap that is supercharged and is more akin to the Ninja H2, this is the bike you want to get. This is about as close to the Ninja H2 that you are going to get. I mean, I don't know if in future they're going to up the specs of the H2 SX, maybe in a refreshed model or something like that. I don't know, maybe they might increase its horsepower output or something, who knows. Might increase the torque, but it's quite a heavy bike. The H2 SX is quite a heavy bike compared to the Z H2 and of course the Ninja H2. But I think all they'd have to do, Kawasaki, with the H2 SX to turn it into more of a monster motorcycle is just change the gearing ever so slightly. I think if they did that on the H2 SX, it would be more like the Ninja H2, where it's just outright bonkers. And I mean, I suppose it depends on the target market, doesn't it? Because the H2 SX isn't exactly, you know, the kind of motorcycle that mad people want to ride. It's more of a touring bike. It has the SX branding, so it's a tourer, a sport tourer. But still, if it has the H2 brand on it, if Kawasaki insist on putting H2 on the H2 SX, they've got to increase the performance for me. Just at least just the torque. If they increase the torque, then yeah, that would be a wicked motorcycle to buy, just with a slight change in gear ratios or something like that. I have no doubt. remember when I did my test ride of the ZH2 back in, when was it? June last year. It must have been about a year ago now. I was so addicted to the torque, so addicted to it, and every opportunity I got, I was just pulling wheelies left, right and centre. I mean, I'm a bit more frightened to do that on my own ZH2, I have to be honest with you there. But yeah, it's certainly one of those experiences that just, you want to keep doing it, you know. It's like it triggers the reward sensors in your brain, releases dopamine. Yeah, it's it's such a thrilling, exciting, unique experience. I mean, certain bikes like the MT10 and KTM Super Duke obviously have got the reputation for being wheelie monsters, and they're just batshit crazy. But this is up there, guys. This is totally up there with those motorcycles. I mean, this has got more horsepower. I think it probably has more torque, or maybe it's on par in terms of torque with the Super Duke. But honestly, this is a ferocious motorcycle. It truly does live up to its name of being a muscle bike. That's what it feels like. That's what it sounds like. Oh, see, this is one of those bikes as well that you can ride, just you can enjoy it. You don't it's not a monster if you don't want it to be. I've kind of done a video about this in the past where I kind of go over the more gentle side of the ZH2, the more controllable side of the ZH2. And of course, if you mess around with the power modes as well, if you put it in the low to medium power mode, you can rip it and you'll be absolutely fine. You'll be able to treat it like a 600 almost. But I mean, look guys, if you are going to buy a ZH2, you do want to buy one for the right reasons, okay? You do want to make sure that... Woo! You do want to make sure that you give it all that you can, and you have to be a really skilled rider to extract all the performance that a ZH2 has to offer. I'll be first to admit, I do not have that skill whatsoever, but I love the fact that it's there. You know, for me that's very satisfying, how, you know, it has performance that I can't extract, at least at my current skill level anyway. And that excites me, that thrills me. That's what drew me to this motorcycle. If you really, well, I don't know, if you're really skilled or you're absolutely mad, then yeah, you could ride this motorcycle like you stole it. I wouldn't recommend it because it's more than likely going to be a one-way ticket to to a cemetery. At least that's the way I feel about it anyway. But that's why I fell in love with this motorcycle, just because of how much fun, how much excitement, how much adrenaline it releases in your body. This bike is just so therapeutic. And that's the funny thing about the ZH2, it's not all about top speed. This top speed is not impressive, you know. There are 600s that can probably go faster than the ZH2. But that's not what it's about, guys. This is purely a street bike. I think, without a doubt, this is certainly oriented more for street use. But even so, if you were to put this bike around a track, I bet you would go wickedly fast. I made the reference earlier about this motorcycle being a muscle bike, and it's kind of true in the sense that when you think about muscle cars, American muscle cars, they're not going to be that great on a track. You know, they're going to be big, lumbering things that really only go fast in straight lines. Trying to corner them quickly probably isn't going to happen. And I think this is where the ZH2 kind of sits, where it's wickedly fast in a straight line. I mean, to be fair, it could probably hold its own in the corners. If you were to race this bike, it could probably hold its own, but you would certainly need to get some higher foot pegs. Scraping the foot pegs on the ZH2 is surprisingly easy, And yeah, that's probably something you're going to want to consider if you do want to do track days on it. Sometimes you do feel the weight of this bike when you're doing cornering that is a bit slower. You know, when you're trying to do slow, tight but quick cornering, if that makes any sense. That's when you do tend to feel the weight of this bike a bit more. But when you're just doing normal riding, I mean, again, if you're doing over, say, 15 miles an hour or so, the weight just disappears. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And the fact that it's such a nimble bike, it doesn't seem to compute with me how you have a motorcycle that is just, it is heavy, it's a heavy bike, but somehow it's still nimble. Honestly, it's just addicting. You gotta be careful where you open that throttle. And honestly, guys, if you are going to open the throttle on this thing, you better hold on. This is such a unique experience in the torque factor. You know, like I've said this before about how the ZZR has got more torque than this motorcycle, significantly more torque. But because it's got a shorter wheelbase, the ZH2, it just feels so much faster, so much more ferocious. Woo! That's a birdhouse. It looks like a f***ing speed camera. That's clever. That is very, very clever. I might turn around and go back there and have a look at that. Fair play, it's a birdhouse that looks like a speed camera. Woo. So I keep chickening out. This road is not good for this at all, man. It's too bumpy. Woo! Honestly, guys, I'm not even giving it that much gas, okay? Like 50% gas is all I'm giving it, and the front wheel wants to come up every time. Wow, guys, it's scary, man. It's scary, but scary in a good way. Honestly, in a good way. Here we go. This is the birdhouse. There you go. Look at that. That's fantastic. The birdhouse has cut it like a speed camera. Oh, that is clever. I'll give him that. That is very clever. Oh, okay, that's enough. That's enough. Holy shit! Oh, my camera mount wanted to go down as well. Oh, Jesus Christ! Whew. All right, guys and gals. Well, I'm hoping that those clips there demonstrated what this motorcycle is capable of, and honestly it just punches you in the gut every single time you pull that throttle back more than 30%. And this is with the traction control on, so this is even with the wheelie control on as well, guys. The traction control level is on and the wheelie control is on, and it still lets you take the wheel off the ground. Oh, wicked. Oh, oh, bloody hell. Anyway, guys and girls, that'll do for today's video. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this ride out with me. Let us know in the comments what you think of the Kawasaki Z H2. If you own one yourself, let me know what your thoughts are on this motorcycle, how ferocious you feel it is. Do you feel the same way as I do about it? Oh, I hope you do. Honestly, this bike just gets under your skin, man. But yeah, make sure to hit that subscribe button, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button for me, and we will catch you all in the next video, guys and gals. Have a good one.